Today I want to show you how you can build an integration page that looks like closes or Zapiers or even Memberstacks, all with no-code tools and AI. So basically, we'll set up one of these pages in about 5 minutes here that has a list of integrations that your company or SaaS app works with. And we're not going to actually have to write all of these descriptions. We're not going to have to build this page from scratch. It'll all be basically done for us. Hopefully you find this pretty powerful. Now, why are these integration pages useful? They let you show off the tools that you integrate with. They can be a great way to get customers to feel more comfortable coming into your platform or trying it out because they know they can connect it to the other tools that they use. So having an integration page like this can be really valuable, and usually it can be a big pain in the neck to get started, right? If you're building like one or two or three of these integrations, maybe it's not too bad, but if you're a product like Memberstacks that has dozens, or if you're a product like Zapier that has thousands, this is not a small undertaking. But with no-code tools and AI, and what I'm about to show you here, we can do this in just a couple minutes. The best place to start is with a tool called Webflow, which you might be familiar with. It is a way to build websites all with no code. Webflow has a template from Memberstack that has a design of this integrations page. Of course, if you know Webflow, you can design this however you want, but this just gives us a very quick way to get something up and running. So you can copy that template pack, and I'll put a link to it in the notes here. And here you'll have the bones of an integrations page. Now, over in the CMS, which is where you basically collect all of these integrations, it comes with these pre-built ones that are from Memberstack. The key thing to think about here is not just what the integrations are, because obviously we'll change those to match your companies. But if you click into the CMS, you can see all the different fields: the name of the integration, the logo, a subheading, and what type it is. In order to automate all this, we're going to want to connect it to Airtable. So we're going to want to bring it into a spreadsheet where we can not just do this one at a time and manually upload these. Instead, we can do this all in bulk. And importantly, we can do this with AI so that we don't have to write these subheadings one by one. Over in Airtable, you can see the bones of how you would set this up. It should match just what I just showed on the Webflow side. So name and slug and subheading. You'll notice these same ones: name, slug, logo, subheading. And this is just setting us up so that we can sync it all and manage it from this spreadsheet. The last bit here is on the Whalesync side. So this is our tool. We use this to build our own integrations page. But really just for this example here, what we're going to do is set up a sync between Webflow and Airtable so that we can bring all of these integrations that we already have in our Webflow site into Airtable and then start building out the ones that we want. To do that in Whalesync, we can hit new sync and search for Webflow and authorize it. What that will do for us is just tell Whalesync that we want to connect to the integrations page example site that we were looking at before. Once we've connected to Webflow, we're going to do something very similar on the Airtable side. With Airtable, it just means grabbing this sharing link right here and come on back over to Whalesync, typing in Airtable, popping that in, and authorizing. Now, same idea. Let's go look for our integrations page example and give Whalesync access for syncing. Once we've connected to the Airtable side, we can move forward. We'll give our sync a name. Maybe we just call this integrations page example. And we'll go ahead and save. Now, the next bit is adding our table mappings. Here, we're just going to map this integrations table to the other one. In other types of syncs, we might want to set up more table mappings. Here, this is going to be pretty simple. Because we are using the template where all the names are the same, we can leverage Whalesync's auto mapping feature, and all of those fields are mapped for us. Instantly, we're done. And the key thing here is that they're all set up as a two-way sync. In a bit, we'll come back and set up the AI field. We'll do that last, but for now, let's just get this up and running. We'll go ahead and save. Now that we're set up with mappings, we can prepare an initial sync. The first thing Whalesync is going to do is just scan our data and see what it can find that it would sync once we kind of move forward. It's found those 18 integrations in Webflow. We're looking good there. The next bit is record matching. So if we had integrations already, we could match them up. For this example, we don't, so we can just move forward here. And finally, a little preview, which is just telling us Whalesync is going to create 18 records in Airtable and none in Webflow. That looks great. Let's go ahead and activate the sync. Now, Whalesync will boot up here. It will notice these records and start to sync them across. And if we come into Airtable, we can instantly see them filling up our Airtable sheet with those integrations. And again, with this example, it's coming with some integrations out of the box that makes it nice so we can start to play around with this data. But in a second here, I'll show you how you can set up your own integrations and use the power of a spreadsheet to build this out. So it looks like we've finished syncing. Let's go and take a look. Yep, initial sync complete. Great. Our sync is active. Amazing. The power of this is that as long as this is active, I can now manage this integrations page all from this spreadsheet. So if I had 100 or 1,000 of these, I can literally copy and paste them in, and instantly they will start to get created in our Webflow site right over here. Now let's just do one to make this example really, really clear and obvious. And let's add a Salesforce integration, right? I'm going to add a new one here. Let's call this Salesforce. Let's go ahead and upload this attachment and give it the logo here. We'll set this to active so that this goes live immediately. And we'll come back to subheading in a sec, but let's just see this in action. If we come back to Whalesync and go to our operations page, you can see that Whalesync instantly created that Salesforce record. It has all those fields we just mentioned. And if we come back over to Webflow and refresh the page, we can start to see Salesforce. Now, just as you might have guessed, we didn't write a subheading, so there isn't anything here yet. This is where AI is going to come into play, and this might be the coolest part of this whole video. In Airtable, recently, a few months ago, they added something called an AI field. If you come into Airtable and click on Add New Field and then hit AI, you can actually tell AI to generate text based on anything you want. And so here, the way that I've set up this field for our AI subheading is given it a few examples to say, write a short subheading description about the name, so the name of this integration, and use these other examples as something to follow or model your responses on. Also told them to keep it short and simple. So with Salesforce, instead of having to go look up what Salesforce is about or how to describe it, right, I can just come in here and hit generate. And the AI field will write this for me, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing I could do is just go ahead and copy and paste this into here. And let's call this a third-party integration as well. By doing that, again, if I come back over to Whalesync and go back to our operations page, Whalesync will notice that. It will go ahead and start to make updates. So, here's the latest one. There it is. It added the subheading. And if we come back over to Webflow, we can go ahead and refresh. And as soon as this loads, we're going to see Salesforce with an AI written description that matches the others, which is pretty awesome. Now, the other thing we can do if we wanted to really automate this is come into Whalesync and change our field mapping here. So currently, if we go to Webflow and take a look here at integrations, we are filling up this subheading by syncing it with this subheading, right? Which makes sense. What we might want to do is actually sync it up with this AI generated subheading. And so the way we can do that is go into Whalesync, edit our table mappings, refresh so that it sees the latest. Oops, actually, we're going to want to first turn this off. So we've disabled it. Now we can edit it. And now we can hit refresh. And so Whalesync will look for new fields. We can come in here, change our subheading in Airtable to our AI subheading field. And so if we do this, Whalesync will look into Airtable and find whatever is in here and use that as the integration. We probably don't want to do that yet since we haven't hit generate on all of these. But if you were doing this in your actual cloud environment and setting this up for real, this would probably be the way to go. That way, if we did another one, let's try again, HubSpot, something like that. We can just hit generate. And again, instantly, Whalesync will sync that new AI description over to Webflow. So that's how you build an AI-powered integrations page in just about 10 minutes. This is a really, really awesome way to show off all the integrations that your SaaS app has or your company has without taking all the time from your developers and your marketing team of doing this manually. I hope you enjoyed that video. You can check out the template packs. You can do this really quickly. They'll all be in the show notes. And let us know if you have any questions.